Did you actually ever have any kind of sexual relationship at all then?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you actually have any kind of sexual relationship with Diddy at all?
No, Diddy and I did not, no, well, not to my knowledge.
So, what do you mean by that?
Not to my knowledge. I don't, honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
C-A-P. Cap. Cap.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Black with Black TV. We're giving reviews and hip hop news. And today, Karrine Steffens, aka SuperHead, went on Piers Morgan to celebrate her 20th anniversary of her book of actually exposing the industry.
You're a victim.
Confessions of a Video Vixen. And now, all of a sudden, since Diddy technically beat the charges, well, he ain't technically, he beat the RICO, Karrine Steffens actually want to come out and give her 2 cents and her experience with Diddy at the certain point in time she was with him. She went on Piers Morgan to tell all of this. So let's go ahead and actually react to it because I haven't seen the whole clip.
Her pseudonym of Karrine Steffens, author of Video Vixens, who claimed she was gifted to Diddy in 2001 by a music executive. Well, welcome to Uncensored.
Wait a minute, whoa, wait a minute. Gifted by a music executive? What the fuck she supposed to be, like a VCR, a DVD player?
Stop it. Get some help.
How was she gifted? It's insane. That's insane right there.
Elizabeth, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of people are kind of aware of your history with Diddy, but for those who know nothing about it, how would you categorize your time with him?
My time with Sean was honestly pleasant in the beginning. To my recollection, the first time we met, we spent the night together, but he was a consummate gentleman with me in that evening, again, to my recollection. And every other time I saw him after that was in a group setting, so it was fine. The last time I saw him, however, things had taken a bit of a turn. It was after Confessions of a Video Vixen, my first book had been published, and he was seething when he saw me Prince had a party at his house, and we were there, you know, of course, before Prince died, and he was scowling at me the whole night, and I found it amusing, but
scowling at you is insane, bro. Like, you probably was wearing something very sexy, appealing, or something like that. At that time, you had a reputation. I mean, you still do. I mean, I don't know if you're still out there doing what you gotta do, but that's why he was probably looking at you, because he was trying to see what that Got 3000 was hitting on.
But he was obviously very angry with me by that point in our relationship.
Why was he so angry with you?
Well, 4 months before Confessions was published in 2005, we got a call from Sean's attorney, my attorney did, and Sean's attorney wanted to see the book before the book came out. Confessions of a Video Vixen was an embargoed book, so no one could see it. No one would even get it until the publication date, which is June 5th of that year. And so my attorney told his attorney that he could not get the book and that they would have to wait until the book came out like everyone else. And if they saw a problem in the book, that they were free to reach back out to us, sue us, whatever they felt was necessary. We knew that wouldn't happen because HarperCollins is the publisher of that book, as you know, is a News Corp entity, and those attorneys made sure it was vetted to the fullest, so Sean could never sue, he could never raise any objection to it. And I think he always hated me after that because I left enough. I posed questions in that book that that I think sent certain people down the direction that leads us to where we are now.
Just explain that a little more. What were the questions you think that we're talking about?
Well, honestly, I'm just now getting context on a lot of the questions that I had then. After the trial gave me way more context. But just about, I think, his sexual proclivities, in what we saw in hanging out with him, the kind of clubs he took us to, even conversations he and I had, one in particular where I didn't understand it at the time. And honestly, Piers, I'm getting new understanding about this line of questioning. I wrote about this in Confessions, where my boyfriend and I at the time had gone to his home for New Year's Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve kind of festivities. And he pulled me to the side and was just like, we're friends, right? We're friends. And I was like, yeah, we're friends. And like, we're good. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. And I couldn't figure out what he meant. And I wrote about this where I didn't know what he was talking about. And he just kind of went on to say, I have kids, I have a mom, and if anything got out, it would really hurt them.
Yeah, the reason he said that because he knew you put that book out. He knew he was doing all that crazy shit at that time with the baby oil and stuff, which ain't nothing wrong with it. He's a freak. But he didn't want that out there. And I haven't read the book. But I assume you didn't put anything in there about Diddy. But he was just worried that you was going to expose him. I mean, I don't know if this story is actually true or not, if it has any validity to it. But that's why he did that. That's why. Because you knew this nigga was a freak, Karen.
And I honestly, at that point in stage, did not know or remember what he was talking about. And so we just kind of laughed it off. Like, what's going on with him? And things that he said to my boyfriend, like, don't trust her. She might have her on video with, in precarious positions. And this is back before cell phone cameras. So I was just like, what video? I didn't understand any of it.
Yeah, he was filming.
Now after
the freak outs.
The trial and the things that have come out from the trial, this gives these conversations a lot more context. But at the time when Confessions came out, it did make us all wonder, what was he so afraid of? I didn't even know what I had seen or didn't see, or if there's something happened that I didn't remember from our time together. But he was very afraid that I would say something in the book. And honestly, I think he never contacted us back because what he thought I was going to say, I did not say. Possibly because I didn't remember it.
What do you think he was fearful of you saying?
I have to be honest, Piers, in booking this time with you today, and your producer asked me to kind of send over some pages from the book. I hadn't read Confessions since I wrote it, and I read it for the audio version, and that was 2005. It's been 20 years since I've read this book. And in reading what I sent over, which is what I just described to you right now, I wonder a lot of things. He was so afraid that I knew something. And I was confused because the only time that we had together prior to this conversation was alone time at his home, wherein I felt we had a good time. I didn't know, he didn't come on to me. It was very platonic, I thought. So I was confused as to what was it? And so I have to admit, my mind kind of races now that I have more context of his proclivities and what he's capable of what he was so afraid of, what he thought I knew or what he thought I remembered.
I mean, in the book, you talk about the first time you met Diddy in a nightclub at 3 a.m. You said, right there in front of me, Diddy and Gotti, who was the Murder Inc. Records boss, Irv Gotti, made arrangements to send me to Diddy's house in 1 hour. It was 4 a.m. I turned up to Diddy's home in my SUV. There were security guards in the driveway, all dressed in dark suits with their hands in front of them. They had been expecting me. The things that went on when Gotti and I were together are almost unimaginable to me now, but in the haze of drugs and liquor, it all seemed all right. I was being used over and over again, man after man, all friends and acquaintances of Gotti's. I quickly became Gotti's showpiece. He would turn other people in the industry onto me. I was his party favor. Whenever there was anyone Gotti wanted to impress, he would send them to me and I'd take care of them. I mean, could it be that what Sean Combs was worried about was that he facilitated this very transactional relationship that you had with Irv Gotti? Is that part of this?
I don't think that was it. And honestly, I think it was more insidious than that. The fear, the fright that he had during that conversation at his Miami home, back in whatever year that was, he seemed terrified that I had known something. And I just don't know what he thought I knew or remembered. The transactional nature of how we met, and which is why, I said in various interviews before that I was gifted to him, it was because no one asked me if I wanted to go. No one asked me, they talked about me as if I wasn't there. I was property to cart around. And that's what they did. If they would have asked me, I still would have gone. So I didn't hold any objection at the time because I would have still done it. Being 21 and it's Diddy and we're having fun and it's just a Saturday night out in LA.
Did you actually ever have any kind of sexual relationship at all then?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you actually have any kind of sexual relationship with Diddy at all?
No, Diddy and I did not, not to my knowledge.
So what do you mean by that?
Not to my knowledge. I don't. Honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
C-A-P. Cap. Cap.
Well, you think
not to my knowledge. No, I don't think anything right now. Not to my knowledge, because honestly.
That's a very strange response, though, to not remember whether you did or not.
Yeah, isn't it?
What?
It is. Yeah, it is. Because honestly, Pierce, before I went through my text, again, I hadn't read Confessions in 20 years. I wrote it. It was painful to write. So I never wanted to re-traumatize myself and go through those years again.
If it was painful for you to write, why did you write it and went through a whole publication with it? That's insane. Why would you say that? Why would you write the book if it's that painful? Oh yeah, to get money, to expose the industry because you feel a certain type of way towards people in the industry. Karrine, SuperHead.
And think about this, I'm a middle-aged woman at this point. I don't want to go back into my 20s and see what happened. But in gathering information for this interview here, reading that passage again for the first time in 20 years, I questioned a lot of things, like, well, why was he so afraid? And why did he try to, make my boyfriend feel as if I wasn't trustworthy? And
do you think he took advantage of you when you were under the influence of alcohol and drugs?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
But do you fear that's the case now from everything you've read?
Honestly, yes. Given the context, now that I know, because again, I never knew any of these things about him before. So the things that I learned in the trial, I did not know. I never saw that side of him. I did not know.
That's kind of hard for me to believe, because if he was at that party, like you said earlier, that he was looking at you mesmerized, that's pretty of an indication that he wanted you part of the freak offs, especially with the reputation you got going on, Karrine. Like that's like a plus to Diddy to have Karrine in a freak off after everything he saw and heard. That's like icing on a cake. And you mean to tell me he didn't offer that to you? That's absurd. And you saying you don't know to any recollection that you'd had any sexual relations with him. Like, you don't know. Like, it's fair to say that you can't say that you didn't have, like, you didn't go out through that? Cause you just said you don't know. Dang.
I never understood. And again, in 2005, when I published Confessions, it says I didn't understand why he was so fearful of me, because our time together was pleasant. And I was like, wait, what is he so afraid of? What does he not want me to tell? I didn't see anything at that point. At that point, I hadn't seen anything. At that point, we had, I thought, just a friendly, platonic night together. So I was confused then. And 20 years later, I'm confused now. So to my knowledge, I've never had sex with Sean Combs. We never had that kind of relationship.
But you can't be sure.
Given what we know now, I can't be sure.
And how does that make you feel?
And that saddens me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
It saddens me, honestly. Yeah, because honestly, during this entire process, I've been shying away from publicity and just letting the trial unfold. You know, I knew things from just being around and people talking, but I didn't know what was going to come out. There's a few things that I saw that without context were strange to me, but I didn't understand them until the trial. And so I've been quiet this whole time, and I disappeared off of social. I just disappeared for the past year waiting for this thing to unfold. In the unfolding of what I believe to be facts, and definitely the testimonies of Cassie and Jane and even some of the men, and then looking back at the text, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, when he said, if anything got out, and I'm like, and I remember at the time being so confused, like anything like what got out? Like nothing happened. We hung out, you were kind. At some point I went to sleep, I don't know when, but I woke up and then we had breakfast and you were kind and I left. Nothing happened. I don't know, Pierce, I feel, just in the last 24 hours, I question what I thought I knew about my time with him.
You detailed in your books romantic relationships with a lot of famous people from that world: Jay-Z, DMX, Van Diesel, Lil Wayne, Method Man, even Bill Maher, LL Cool J, Mr. Carl, and others. You had a lot of famous guys you dated, and who knows what the nature of what happened with Diddy was about. But
she did not date any of them. She fucked them. It's a difference. She might have dated a few of them here and there, but she didn't date. If that's the fact that if that's the case, I dated a lot of women in my day. If that's the case,
I think this is just emboldening more men to do the same thing, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to get away with it. There are men in this industry who have left this country, who are now living on islands and in different countries, you know, to escape persecution from things like this. There are men that I know personally who are involved in this, who have done things similar to this, who have parties like this. Diddy's not the only one. This is not a Sean Combs problem. This is not, this is a...
And it's people that actually said that. Like, I'm not surprised that it's other people of power doing stuff like this. They just haven't got caught yet. And, you know, just like with the whole Kanye thing that just came out, I'm not surprised at that at all. So we're just gonna have to stay tuned.
Societal community issue here in this town, and it's not just the artists, it's also their attorneys, their publicists, it's the hotels. I was brutalized in a hotel, and guess what happened? That tape disappeared. When I went to get my police report from the police station, it was destroyed, all within 48 hours, to protect the person who had brutalized me. It is systemic. So it doesn't matter, you know, if Diddy gets off or not, in the sense that it won't stop anything. I think if anything, it makes it all worse.
But yeah, like, just by her saying it won't stop, it's not gonna stop. It won't stop. Bad boy for life. But all jokes aside, it's gonna continue forever. Like, men doing whatever they want to do sexually to women been going on for centuries, and it's not gonna stop. Do I think that is she lying about the Diddy thing or whatever? Possibly, because she could have participated in something. She probably couldn't have not really remembered if she did anything with him or not. Because this is, like I said on my morning show, I believe she have sexually did things with so many celebrities. She can't even remember which celebrity she actually done anything with. Now, but by her going on Piers Morgan and talking about Diddy off the strength of her 20th anniversary of her book and promoting it again is diabolical, because Diddy, if that's the case, if she don't remember anything sexually with Diddy, why bring up his name right now? Why bring up his name and you promote this book? Both don't even correlate to one another if you don't even remember anything, do anything with Diddy. Or this just could be a Piers Morgan play to actually get clicks and views, because Piers Morgan is just evil like that. And I admire him for it, for making the content. But the most important question is, do you believe Karrine Steffens? Do you believe she didn't do anything with Diddy? Do you believe she didn't have anything to do with any freak offs with Sean P. Diddy Combs' Bad Boy for Life? Put that in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll holla next time on Black TV.